you know, good things in my life. But like, why do I find myself in this situation here? And is this now going to be the end of it? Am I going to become now a bitter, angry, somebody who can't really do much for anybody else?
Mhm.
Is it going to turn me into this horrible person now? And then here, suddenly out of the blue, you know, the rise starts. Gotten actually worse in that time. It had actually pulled the patella a lot higher. So he was actually worried about fixing that first. He said, let me work on the one that was more recent. So that was the right knee. So he said, we'll fix this first. And then after you rehab that, because your right leg is a lot stronger than your left, let's rather rehab the right leg first so that it's strongest. Then we'll work on the left. So, I mean, I said, you're the expert doc, I'll just follow what you say. And so we go in and like I've done this before now. This is my third major operation, all right? So the first two was back when I got injured when I was in high school, and then at the sorry in 2006. So I know the routine where they talk to you, they get you in a good mood and whatever, and then they slowly ask you to count backwards from 10. And you either of you guys been under the knife before or been knocked out
Fortunately,
before?
No,
not. No.
no.
I want to say something that sounds so strange, but it is the coolest thing ever to get knocked out by, to go under anesthetic. And I liken it to the video game Mortal Kombat when Sub-Zero freezes them. Like, so they put all the needles into your arm and stuff, right? And so they ask you to count backwards when they put the mask on you. And some of it is partially injected into your arm, and the gas helps as well. So then they tell you to start counting backwards. So I'm like 10, 9, 8. And so you guys been in the pool
Mm.
before? Um,
Yeah.
you ever been in a competition with your friends where who can hold their breath the
Mm.
longest?
Yeah.
So you know the point when you actually can't breathe any longer, and you know the point when you're gonna come up for air? When they ask you to count backwards and this thing is running through your skin, you take one final breath. And I know, and I don't know if this is what happens when, you eventually leave this earthly realm. But when you take that breath before this thing puts you under, you literally feel a cold breath sucked into your body, and I could just feel ice running up my arm.
Oh, okay, that's the Sub-Zero side of it.
Yeah, it's like I could feel ice running up my veins in my arm, and this breath, ice, as ice. Like think about like you just flipping 8, 10 ice cubes and you swallowing them all. It's just like cold, cold,
Oh.
Yeah.
cold, cold. And guess
Hmm.
what? 6 hours later, I'm waking up inside the recovery room. To me, it
Interesting
felt
visual.
as
Yeah.
though I was, yeah. To me, I've been gone for 10 seconds. In this period of time, 6 hours have passed.
Wow.
That's how crazy it is, and the funny thing is, you can tell the difference between having a sleep where you've slept for 6 hours and where you've been under knocked out for 6 hours. You can instantly tell. It's not like a sleep feeling when you're waking up. You can feel that it's something different. So I wake up and I'm like, fuck me, I'm glad that I've woken up. I'm glad that I can hear people around. Because remember,
I'm
you
back.
don't just open your eyes. Yeah, exactly. You don't just open your eyes immediately. You hear sounds first, right? I'm like, yes, I can hear there's people around me. I'm back. I'm back. Open my eyes and, you know, There was nobody around because they don't know what time you're going to wake up. It's not like somebody peering over you, waiting for you to wake up. It's like,
They have jobs, people have things to do.
yeah, yeah. No one's here waiting for your ass to wake up. If you wake up, you wake up. Good for you. And yeah, and then I wake up and I'm like, okay, I felt this feeling before, based on the other two ops, where I can't feel my leg. I can feel it. I can feel the swollen leg because everything's bandaged up and whatever. And I know I can't because you being out has taken everything out of you. All your muscles have been dead. Basically, when you go under, it's not the same as sleeping. I think it's a lot deeper than that. Remember, all your faculties are not working for those 6 hours. It's not like you're asleep, you toss and turn, your muscles are still engaged, your brain is, telling your muscles to move. When you're out, you're out. Your body is rigid for those 6 hours. You haven't moved. You've been stuck in that same position for 6 hours. So that's why I said it's a different feeling. And so wake up all groggy and I can't move. I'm trying to move. Chest is uh, chest is affected a lot by being under anesthetic. You actually lose lung capacity for being under for that long.
Okay.
And I learned later on that when you lose, the ability in your legs, it's a lot heavier on your lungs to to function because you're not getting the exercise. When you're not walking normally, your lungs are not working 100%. But like I'll get to that later. But yeah, I'm awake, grateful. The doctor comes and tells me that everything is good, successful. You know, I'll see you rehab in a couple of days, but you rest up and what have you. I'm like, okay, grateful. Everything went well. I'm up. Worst feeling, worst recovery feeling ever. Because I think, it's now had to do with age. Because when I had the other injuries, I was still a youngster. I mean, the first injury, I was 17, and the other one after that, I was 21, still a youngster. But now, at 35, like, the body's taken a beating and a bit slow to recover. But yeah, mindset of gratitude at that time and also relief because the doc said that he would operate, but he literally said, I should have told you guys this earlier, but he couldn't make any promises that it was going to be 100% fine because this is what they would consider the most severe knee injury apart from having a complete uh, knee replacement. Repairing or snapping the patella is one of the major knee surgeries you could have. And it's,
Well,
I wouldn't say it's a 50-50, it's a 60-40 about, it being successful. But this one was 100% successful. And I'm like, super grateful and thinking to myself, okay, this is chalking up another minor victory. To me, it was a major victory. And I'm just saying minor victory uh, in the grand scheme of things. But a victory nonetheless. And you know, everybody else sense of relief that this has happened. Uh, I mean, I texted you guys in the group to say everything went good. Everyone's glad to hear from me. I mean, I wake up to like 50 odd messages. Anyone heard from him? Is he good? Yeah, I'm good. We're good, guys. Uh, Told you the whole issue about, damn, I've got like a large tube stuck inside my penis at the moment, but yeah, I'm good. Uh, yeah, and so took the dub, as you would call it, and I didn't think that, I thought to myself, okay, I'm out of it, excruciating pain still, because that's to be expected. And the very same afternoon, I get this physiotherapist come into my ward, and she's like, are you ready to go for a walk? And I'm looking at this lady, thinking to myself, lady, are you feeling okay? Are you out of your? I said, what? No, I thought she was joking. I knew she was a physiotherapist because she said, my doctor recommended her. Um, they have a working relationship, so she's going to be doing the physio. And I'm like, I thought this was, just her coming to introduce herself. And she's like, Mr. Pakkiri, are you ready to go for your walk? And I asked her straight up, "Are you joking?" And she's like, "No, no, I'm not. We need to start this immediately." And I remember him telling me, when I went to see him, he actually told me, "If I do the surgery for you," he was straight up. He was very direct. He said, "If I do the surgery for you, you need to tell me that you're all in to the end to get this leg up and running. Don't come tell me a couple of weeks in after the surgery." Sorry, he was blunt. He was to the point. He's like, don't come and tell me you can't afford the rehab 3 weeks down the line because then you're wasting your time and you're wasting my time. And I'm thinking to myself, look at this fucker. It's like, I'm paying you, my guy.
Mm.
Can you not just do my surgery?
Yeah.
You are getting paid,
And
which
I
is,
think, yeah,
it makes.
exactly. And I think he saw the wheels turning in my head at that time, and he's like, I know you probably think that I'm being an ass, but you are going to be wasting your time and my time if you're not going to see this through. And at the time I was desperate and I told him, yeah, yeah, no, no, I just want you to get the surgery done. So I said, no, 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 I'm not going to, not going to, you know, the I want this to work. I want it to work. I want to walk again. But in that moment when this physiotherapist came in and said, Mr. Parker, we're going to go for a walk now, I'm thinking to myself, you gotta be shitting me. This is not what I signed up for. And then I thought to myself, so this is what he meant by don't come later on and like half-ass your physiotherapy. And so here I
But
was
literally
getting
5 minutes
out of
later, yeah.
yeah. It's like, I didn't expect you. I didn't think you meant 5 minutes later. And so I get out of bed, and here's this lady saying, "No, you can do it. We need to get some sort of mobility." So I'm like, I jump out of the bed. There's still the drain, because after surgery you have to have like a blood drain there for all the excess blood, because eventually it does bleed out a bit. So here's this blood bag strapped hanging out of my knee. And for those of you that don't know, it's a long ass needle. We're talking like it's a flexible wired, it's a flexible plastic needle. But eventually, when they pull it out from your leg, it's like maybe 60 centimeters long. And so here's this thing, and I'm still walking. I mean, um, you must remember gravity because I've been horizontal for 6, 7, 8 hours now. I've been horizontal. So when I get out of this bed and my leg now is facing down, all that blood comes rushing down my thigh and straight into this knee where that has just been operated. And for those of you that don't know, blood rushing to uh, parts of your body and get your mind out the gutter. Uh, this one was not very nice. This was not a nice feeling. It actually brings a lot of pain to it. And so here I am again, knowing that my leg is fixed. But I'm like, oh no, here's another set of pain again. But this is a good pain. This I had to tell my mind, you know what, this is good. That means you're actually feeling something. You know, be grateful that you're actually feeling something. It's pain, but be glad that it's pain. And yeah, I mean, I I got home. I got home a few days later, uh, and had to then start thinking about rehab and getting better from that point. And yeah, I mean, I had conversations with you guys, let you know that things are going well, but I was um, getting home. I still had to think to myself that, yeah, this is fixed, but there's still a lot of work to go. And it was a sort of depression all over again. And it was, I don't know how to explain it, but even though I knew I was on my way to, this was just like the first the first the end goal is 100%. It's operate the right leg at 25%. Rehab takes me to 50%. Operate on the left knee takes me to 75%. Rehab on the left leg takes me to 100% where I need to be. Those were the 4 quarters that needed to be, to be fulfilled before I would be normal again. And so here was the 25% done already, but I was still at 0% happiness for some reason. I was like, you know, there's there's still a chance that it can go wrong. I still had a negative mindset. This 25% positivity is done, but there's 100% chance of it going wrong again. Whereas I should have been celebrating this little victory, I was also thinking about how it could have went wrong afterwards, because the doctor did tell me that because of the severity of this particular injury, the alternative at some point, if this all didn't come right, was either it wasn't going to walk again, or you're looking at completely replacing the entire knee, making it all synthetic. So not your own joints and whatever. It was just going to be like cyborg, like
Metal.
half metal, like metal and other moving parts to help you walk again. And the negative was, if that didn't work, then you know that's the end of it. So all those
But these negative thoughts that you've been getting, right?
hmm.
Is that was did that derive of the point of always having hope, then something happened, and then always having hope again, and then something happened? Is that why you went back to thinking that well, how this could go wrong again?
So in layman's terms, things being too good to be true. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be it,
yeah.
eh? Um, because like the pattern was being at a certain point in my life, then the injury occurred. Then, you know, the wife getting this job, second injury occurred. And then getting the leg fixed. So then as the pattern goes, something bad was going to happen. And, I had to, um, so like after this injury occurred, there was a major, you know, cut from the top of the knee to past the knee to the bottom, because they had to basically start at the top, uh, glaze over the kneecap, and then do a bit more work underneath that. So leg is wrapped up for a couple of weeks, and I've been here before. I know what's under that bandage. It's metal staples holding the wound together, because of the severity of the cut. It's not They can't just use the glue that keeps the skin together. It had to be stapled together and stitched up. So I know what's going on under there. At least I thought I did. Um, and then when the time came for, sorry, I'm jumping the gun here. They're still like in between coming home. Everyone's happy that this has happened. They celebrating it as a victory, and they have every right to. But my mindset again was, fair enough, yeah, leg is fixed, but it can still go wrong. I'm internalizing that. I'm not saying it out in the open. I'm not saying it to anyone. I have to keep it positive because then I'm just going to come across as, ungrateful. Don't want people to know that. Didn't want anyone to know what I was thinking, actually. And like, I think the only person that I opened up was to you, Keegan. Like, I mean, like you mentioned earlier, you and I have this relationship for 7 odd years. Only met each other once in person. Then I'm like, I can open up to you, and I would I would say certain things to my wife, but that's just based on our relationship. Like, I still don't want to be like super vulnerable as a man, like to
Mm.
her. I still have this vulnerability, but I want to tell it to somebody else who could relate. And this sounds stupid. This is still ego and male bravado. I want to speak to a guy that I can be vulnerable to. I'm not gonna 100% tell her the 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 the, um, the negatives, right? All of the negatives. I'm gonna tell her, yeah, I'm feeling down. Um, I'm hurt. I'm hurting, right? Physically, but I don't want her to know 100% that I don't think that this is gonna get better.
Mm.
But at the same time, I can open up to you because I don't know if if this, I don't know how this comes across, but if I tell you, I don't care what your response is going to be.
Mm.
You're going to listen to me, but it's still not your problem.
And also,
I'm not going
there's
to,
not a big backlash for that. Also, it's not like it's the end of the world if you tell Keegan. If you tell your wife,
yeah,
then that affects your immediate surroundings.
yeah, because I'm not going to burden Keegan with this. Keegan's going to listen to me, and whatever Keegan responds with is whether Keegan says, yeah, you know what, that's what it is. It's deal with it, or if Keegan tries to uplift me, there's no I'm not being a burden to him because it's not his problem. It's not going to
Yeah,
affect
that is to
Keegan.
live with. Yeah.
Keegan's still gonna wake up tomorrow and carry on with his life. It's not gonna it's not gonna dwell in Keegan's head. Oh shit, this is what my friend is going to. Yes, it may. He may feel a certain way about it. He may empathize with me, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really affect Keegan in any way.
Yeah.
So I open up to Keegan. This feels like the Keegan hype show, yeah. Because like
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
gotta
tell you
stop.
guys. No, no, like I can't tell you guys how much like he was there for me. Like this man believed from day one that I'm gonna start doing jumping jacks and shit, and this man is telling me, yeah, like a couple of months down the line, yeah, you're gonna be in the gym and you and I are gonna be doing the same thing. And I'm thinking to myself, nah, is this guy on drugs? This guy is on drugs if he thinks that I'm even gonna sniff the gym, like, But like, yeah, I felt all this negativity still. Uh, Guys, I can't even tell you my brain was so clouded with fear, just it was all just fear and nothing else but fear that um, you know I'm not going to be who I was before. And I wanted this for myself, that to get the stuff fixed and to be who I was before. I mean, I was thinking to myself, uh, fuck, I'm never going to kick a football again. And I know that sounds stupid. And I told my wife that, like, and she gave me the coldest of looks. And like, not in a
That's the best you can
negative,
think of.
like angry way. She's like, what the hell are you thinking about kicking a football again? When you can't even, when you should be thinking about actually putting one foot in front of the other to take a step. And I'm like, yeah, I'm kidding with you. And and I think that was the maturity of it, that it really was a joke, because I honestly wasn't thinking about kicking a football again. I was now praying every single moment to just be able to walk. Now this is just after the first operation now, right? Just be able to walk again. And when I went, sorry guys, I keep jumping back and forth here, but the doctor, when he saw me that first time, and he said, you need to be all in for this to work. You can't half it. He said, just, I know this sounds cliched and sexist, but think about walking your girls down the aisle. Don't you want to do that
Yeah,
again? I mean, he's thinking far into the future. I'm thinking about,
that's my
I just want
first
to
thought
be
also.
able
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
yeah, I just want to walk. I just want to walk with the kids, run around with them, just mess around. But he's like, don't you want to walk your girls down the aisle? And I'm like, yeah, doc. I mean, that's literally what I want to do. I mean, you far ahead. You jumping the gun here, doc. Okay, I don't want to think about my girls dating, right? But
Mm, mhm.
yeah, that's what I want to do one day. But I just want to walk for now. So I told he's like, where do you envision yourself? After this happening, uh, do you want to get back into sports? And I told him, doc, I'm gonna lay it out in the line here. I'm not thinking that so far and that hectically about, getting back to who I used to be. I just want to walk. And it's like, it sounds awful for him to say this, but he said, I'm glad you have low expectations, to just walk, because you shouldn't be thinking about, those other things. So I said, like, okay, you and I are on the same page here. And those thoughts came back after this operation about, I don't want to miss out on what we would call normal life. I just want to be able to walk. And yeah, I was every day just, thanking up above for, getting me this first part of the operation done. Like, thank you. And, just this is the direction I want to head in. I just want to walk again. And yeah, I mean, I bitched and moaned to you on the phone so many times. You know, you kept asking me every day, how's it feeling? You doing your exercises? And I'm like, yeah, I am, I'm positive. Here I am in my screwed up straight state. I mean, the viewers, I mean, we're not going to go into you now because we're talking about me, but the you were battling your own whatever it was. You had your own battles that you were fighting, and I was still trying to remain positive for you, um, even though I had no positivity. I was like, you know what? I have nothing for myself here. But let me try and make your day better. Let me try and, even if I lend my ear to you, my legs don't work, but I can give you my ears for a little bit. Uh, so yeah, I was like, I mean, you were there to listen to me. Uh, you gave, I want to say you gave me your undivided attention when I was when on the calls with you, and even in the texts and stuff. And I spent many sleepless nights. You know me for all those years. I mean, we used to game into like
Yeah,
crazy hours in the
yeah.
morning, and I've
Early
always
hours of the
been,
morning. Yeah.
I've always been like that. I've always had, minimal sleep. So with this injury and being on the multiple medications and stuff, I was always up, and our our time difference didn't matter because it all like kind of melded together. Your morning, my night. I was awake, you were awake. You know, texts were back and forth, and I I just drew on that positivity from you. I mean, I had the support at home. Uh, I had the support of friends, but everybody else had their own stuff going on in their lives. They knew um, what I was going to, and um, they were just. I don't want to come across as being terrible, but they were courteous, right? Because that's what your friends do. They're courteous to the plight that you're in, right? Or the plight that I was in. But I understand that everybody has their own lives. Nobody's sitting there and dwelling on, oh, is Justin doing okay? The thought may have came into their minds, right? But I still felt like this was just my battle and my battle alone. I had to overcome this. Nobody else, because nobody else is in my position. Um,
Mm. Yeah,
they
you had to
there.
do the work. At the end of the
Exactly.
day, you have to do the work. Yeah.
It is. It was on me. But physically and mentally, emotionally, I was just drained. Like I didn't feel like I could do this. I made that promise to the doctor, the surgeon, before he operated on me that I'm not going to just, waste his time and my time. But here I was after the operation thinking to myself, no, I can't do this. I can't put in the hard work. Can this not just get better by itself? Do I have to? I don't want to. I literally don't want to do this. And and it was such a damn selfish, you know, feeling. It was selfish because I had so many people depending on me to want to get better, to fight to get better. But here I was thinking to myself, nah, I don't want to put in the hard work. It must just get better on its own. Like, just, maybe maybe I don't have to work hard. Maybe I'll just stay on crutches and I'll adapt my lifestyle, you know, to being this way. And and then I thought to myself, this is not fair on everybody else who's, you know, who's been positive, who's now hoping for a better outcome for me, right? Who's basically given their, I want to say energy, invested their thoughts, their prayers, their energy into me being better.
Mm.
Now I'm talking
Time.
exclusively about my wife and my kids, right? Because they invested in me becoming me again.
Mm.
And here I was, like, with a shield up in front of me, like, yeah, you're doing this. Well, we'll see how where it goes. Let's hope for the best kind of attitude. I'm not feeding off their positivity. I'm just saying it is what it is. We'll see what happens, right? And I don't know when it switched or when it changed, right? Because when I went to get these staples removed out of my leg, this thing looked like a fucking train wreck. This leg. It was.
Gosh.
Hey, look, I'm a dark-skinned guy. This light is just making me look a bit fair here, right? But my leg literally looked like someone had put it over some coals. It was black.
Yeah.
And Now I'm in a panic when they remove this bandage off my leg. Oh, sorry, I had to remove the bandage off my leg after a couple of weeks because I had to get it cleaned. I had to still do wound care and stuff before they remove these staples. And I remember opening up this bandage at home and not wanting to look down for fear of what it looked like. And when I opened this damn thing up, it looked like somebody had taken my foot and put it on a barbecue, or what we like to call it a
Mm.
braai. This thing
Yeah.
was blackened. It was, I don't want to put you guys off. Blackened, it was oozing stuff, but not in, it wasn't negative because it was meant to do that. It
Mm.
just looked awful. And I'm thinking to
Mm.
myself, uh, this can't be good. This can't be good. I remember having my earlier operations way back in the day, and it didn't look like this. It looked decent. This looked awful. Absolutely. It looked gruesome. It looked like how it looked like how you would expect the worst outcome to look like.
Yeah.
Because there's still this dried blood. This obviously needed to be cleaned. That's the whole point of opening it up. But my head immediately went to, oh, this is this is bad again.
Mm.
Hmm.
But how long was that period that you had to wait before you could open it up and this blackening occurred?
Uh,
Is it a month? Is this a few weeks?
no, no,
Few
it
days?
would have been a week, a week,
Okay.
a week or 2 weeks. I can't remember. Sorry, it's been a while now. So I think it was a week to 2 weeks before I had to open it up and clean it up. Before, because
Mm.
I think, yeah, sorry, it would have been a week because after 2 weeks the staples had to come out.
Yeah.
So I had to wound care for a week, another week before I went to the actual to the doctor to have it removed. And so yeah, I had to live with that a week until this happened, that it was looking this awful. And it was like
Like it
it
was
was
off
like a
or
back.
something.
Yeah, like I felt like it wasn't looking right. And then it was the back and forth again about the highs and the lows. Here's a low again. Here's another low because I don't feel like it looks right. Um, and So yeah, I mean, every day cleaning it up. And remember, in this state, I was literally being taken care of by my wife, like physically. It was like the most awful feeling of being like a kid again, like a baby. If I needed to go to the bathroom, somebody had to walk me to the bathroom. Like taking a bath, somebody had to help me take a bath.
Mm.
Yeah,
And when I had
I
to
know
get
that feeling.
changed, yeah, wife had to help me change. She had to do everything for me. I didn't have an appetite, so people were fawning over, making these fantastic meals, and here I was like two, three bites, and I can't stomach this because I'm on meds, I'm on pain meds. I'm like, I was like a miserable person to be around. Like I I spent minimal time with the kids because I just wanted to be by myself. Like the kids
Hmm.
would go to school during the day, but when they come home, I think I would maximum spend like an hour or 2 hours with them because I just
Yeah,
wanted to just like shelter myself. I just wanted to close my eyes, face the wall in the room, and just like sleep it away till it
yeah.
became better. And like again with the negativity of the way the knee looked, and you know trying to trying to make things normal was a lot harder than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Trying to live, trying to
That's
get to a point of living a normal life.
that's
I
actually
knew there was
interesting
a
that you
way.
say that because you would assume that as soon as the accident happened, and you got the news like this is how bad your knees were, that was the lowest point of you. But now because you got the surgery and now you're recovering, now hits you worse because you know the what work needs to be required for you, like the hard work, the steps to climb this mountain. And now you're like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to climb the mountain. Um,
Yeah,
like, yeah, the work that needs to be done is it's like almost too much for you to bear. So you almost want to give up, but you have people now that has been with you on this journey, and now they depend on you to kind of finish it. And now you're like, nah, I'm good. You know,
Mm.
I'm gonna
exactly.
call it a day.
It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and it makes you feel even worse because they believe in you and they can see the goal. They can see the end goal, but I can't see it. And you have to wonder to yourself, why can't you see it? And and then Mr. Hype Man here on the screen, he can see it. And he's telling me what needs to be done. And I'm like, and I told him, no, I can't. And he still said, no, you can and you will. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's hearing it for the first time now that I'm being honest with him. Whatever he said went in one ear and came out the other ear. I just told him, I just said to him, yeah, yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate what you're saying. I'm definitely going to do it. But I didn't. I just, after the conversation ended, after the phone call or video call ended, I I felt good for that moment about what he said. And then after that, I was back to like, nah, I can't do this. Uh, it's too much. I'll, I'll find another way.
Mm.
And like we got to that point where I went to remove the staples, it felt like, yeah, I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. Like, um, Patrick, you've got tattoos?
no,
Nope. Okay, so you don't know. Keegan has tattoos, right? It's
Mm.
I don't even know how to explain that because when you're getting a tattoo, it's just like the continuous like a burn. It's not even like a sting,
Yeah.
but this is like I don't know how to explain it, but like they remove these things and you must know there's no anesthetic or anything. So this is like plain ripping stuff out of your flesh, right?
Ooh.
And they do it in the nicest way possible. They
Yeah.
use the little surgical spirits or whatever to try and numb it, but there's no actual numbness where you don't feel it. You feel every sting as the sting is being ripped out of your flesh. But at that the reason why it takes 2 weeks is so where the staples go in, the skin is now it's like it's the old skin. So when they pull it out, it's not really damaging your skin. It's
Oh,
dead,
okay.
kind of like dead, but
that's
you
good.
still
Yeah.
feel it you still feel it coming out of you, but it doesn't do any lasting damage. So yeah, so these things come off, and then I'm like, it looks like even more of a train wreck now with them being out of your leg. And so I I sat there every day at home, and I'm like, please let this leg look normal again. I just now I'm not interested in whether I can walk again. Please let my leg look look fine again. And after the longest time, it started looking okay again. And then going into rehab. This is now 2019 heading into 2020. And those of you listening, you know what happened in 2020. Uh,
Mm.
the dreaded C word happened in 2020.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like that op happened late 2019. I think it was, damn it, I can't even remember now. I want to say November or December that it happened. And the conversation I had with my doctor at the time was that it was going to take 6 months of rehab before he'd consider working on the other knee, the one that was the left one, uh, which was even a worse state than the right one. And so come Jan 2020, and probably been doing rehab for about maybe a month, and continued with the rehab. Things were looking really good. I was starting to actually believe again that, everything's going to work out and be positive now. The Not fully, not 100%, doubt always in the back of the head. There were a few slip ups in rehab as well, you know, kind of wobbliness that instilled that fear again into me that, you got to take it slow. I mean, as slow as possible. Your mind is, and this is something that the physiotherapist told me, is that your mind will always try to protect your body in every way possible. Your mind, your brain's first instinct is to protect you in every single way possible, which is why fear exists. Fear is a form of protection. Okay, it's going to stop you from doing
Mm.
something that's going to hurt yourself, and essentially that's protecting, right? I mean, it may
Mm.
not be the best thing for you, but your brain's
Yeah.
telling you this is my way of protecting you.
Yeah.
And so, my rehab was going fine, but not as fast as it was supposed to be. But I met my um, surgeon again in Feb, and he's like, you know what? Been getting some positive feedback from your physiotherapy. Looks like we're good to go for March. I'll see you in March. We can do the second off. And I'm like, damn, okay. Maybe everything's not as bad as I thought it was, because I expected this to take a lot longer before we do the next op. And then, fuck, Feb was when COVID hit. Like, Feb was like ground zero, I want to call it. I know ground zero is when it first happens, but Feb was ground zero when everything went into, like, the world woke up and realized that this is how bad COVID is. So this is when like the lockdowns and stuff were going to happen. They were still considering it, but it was like the early stages of proper, panic. And here I am heading into getting this next op done. And stupid brain again, thinking about, hey, I'm going under the knife again. You're going to be knocked out again. What if you don't wake up? Sounds stupid, but I'm kind of weak-minded. That's the reality of it. I had to think that those thoughts creeped in again. What if you don't wake up again? And this time I was kind of geared for it. Like,
Mm.
just just get it out of your head. You've come too far now to have these thoughts in your head again. Just think about everything that's happened. It's 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 not in the plan for you to for this the story to end now. And go in for the surgery again. Everything goes fine. And the mental side of it, how I saw the mental, um, the power of positivity was before I had the second op done. Everybody around me, like my wife, family, the nurses at the hospital, because they've seen me before, they know who I am now. The doctor, they said, when you wake up from this surgery, your brain already knows that this has happened before. Your brain knows, your body remembers that you've been through this. So when you wake up, it's going to be nothing. And I remember going in the whole thing again, being knocked out. And when I woke up in the rehab room, or the where you come out of surgery before they move you. I remember waking up and feeling fresh. I'm like, how the flippin' hell is this possible? I'm talking about I'm feeling fresh like this time
You
around
had a
like
good
I
night's
just had
sleep. Oh,
like I had to sleep. I wake up. I told you the last time my chest had caved in or my lungs had caved in because it hasn't been in this state in years. I woke up fresh, arms able to move. And it was no the right leg had been rehabbed by this time. Right leg, I could lift it up, move it around. Had an appetite. Woke up and actually said, "Can I have some food, please? Because I'm starving." This,
Mm.
as opposed to the last time when I went in, I was like, "If you bring food near me, I'm gonna throw it at you because I feel
Yeah.
awful." Now I'm like,
Yeah.
"Bro, I'm hungry. Bring me something." I got an appetite. Ate, ate junk, everything that I wanted to. I ate. Like, here's the positive feeling again, and because my
Feel
brain
good
is
factor.
like, feel good. I'm like, and where the hell is this? And my wife was there, and I'm like, you don't understand. I was like a kid on Christmas Day. I'm like, babe, I feel amazing. I feel great after this op. And they were like, "Oh, told you this was going to happen. Now do you believe? Now do you feel positive?" And I did, but at the back of my mind, I'm still thinking that the doctor told me that this particular leg, um, they had to do a hell of a lot more to fix it. And he was very detailed about it. That
Mm.
they had to pull my quads down on my left knee. They had to grip it, like physically grip it with whatever device it was and pull it down so that it would actually reach my patella because it had become so stretched out that even with putting this new patella, it wasn't going to reach the top of it wasn't going to reach this muscle enough to be normal. Because like
Mm.
yeah.
you've got your knee in the middle and then you got this muscle and that muscle and they have to join. The patella is somewhere in the middle that kind of works it. But now this hamstring had gotten somewhere around here, so they literally had to grab it and pull it towards the patella. But um, the hamstring is a very uh, it's a strong muscle, but it's also very fragile. And if they pull it too much, there's a possibility that they could tear. And if you tear your hamstring too much, then you never walk again. There's no way to fix it, unfortunately. So
No.
it was a very hey, I hope no doctors are in this going to be in this comment section because they're going to tell me, "Hey, you talking nonsense, my boy. Don't come with your own medical stories here."
Tape it up. Just tape it
Um,
up. Yeah.
yeah, so because like he did say that if they try to pull the hamstring too much, then there's a possibility that it's not going to work, and then you're screwed because there's no workaround after that. So you know, here's me, Mr. Negativity again. Yay, I'm feeling great, I'm feeling fabulous, but oh shit. Until the doctor comes comes to see me and says, "Hey, Mr. Pakkiri, everything's 100%. You're good to go." And that wait was like the longest time. You guys know, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of how doctors and surgeons work. They're not there to just, sort you out, and they're not at your beck and call. You don't expect
Mm.
the doctor just after you wake up to be, "Oh, Mr. Park is awake. Okay, I'm on my way to see him." Now, this
Yeah.
man has got like six other surgeries going on
Yeah.
in his life,
Yeah.
right?
It's
He's
not
got
like the movies they say.
consultations. Yeah, he's doing these three ops in the morning. He still has to go back to his doctor's rooms to see other people who he's going to operate on in the future. And when he has some time for you, yeah, then he's going to come see you. So yeah, so I mean, he came in the afternoon, and he said, "Mr. Pakri, everything went 100% now. Now everything's on you." Those are the words that he came out of his mouth. Like, now everything is on you. And I'm sitting there and thinking to myself, "Shit, this is it now. This is it. There's no excuses now. Now I'm not waiting on anyone else because, I was waiting on the second leg to get operated on. It was in somebody else's hand. Now everyone's done their part. Guess whose turn it is now? Mine. Nobody else's. Now there's nobody else to hold, there's nothing, no excuse I can use now that I was waiting on the doctor to fix my leg, waiting on the rehab to happen. Now this is 100% on you. Nobody's going to make you, no one's going to physically help you to walk again. Now the hard work is on you. And that was overwhelming for a period of time because, no more excuses. Now, if anything, I'm holding everybody else back by taking my sweet time to get this done. And
And how long ago was that? There was that the doctor said that to you that it's now on you. How long ago was that?
that was March 2019.
Hmm.
That was March 2019. And
So and that was now both legs had now been operated on,
yeah,
right?
March
And
2019.
now it's
Yeah.
on your shoulder.
I'm sorry,
So
March 2020.
2020.
March 2020.
20,
Yeah, 2020.
2020. So the doctor tells you this. You still got some. Well, you've got no more excuses. You got to build everything for yourself now. Prove to yourself all over again that you can do this. But it starts by the small things. And when I say the small things, it's like what does the Pakkiri family outing look like today? When you want to go someplace, does it always is any type of walking off limits? Is walking too far maybe off limits? How does it look?
Walking too long.
Yeah, walking too long.
Now, now it's as long as it's not I don't want to even say as long as it's not a flight of stairs, because like I can do that. If I have something to hold on to, flight of stairs is not a problem.
Hmm.
It's almost normal. I
Okay.
want to say, I want to say I'm 90% normal.
Okay.
Look, I can't do a squat, but that's that is literally my end goal at the moment is to be able to do a squat, like a full on
To do
squat,
one squat
not with
without weights.
weights, not
Yeah.
with weights and stuff. Just be a normal person and do a squat because
Mm.
it is a bit. Look, I've I can I can function normally now, but there's some work to be done. Um,
Mm.
Straight up, it's financially constricting at the moment, or
Yeah.
else I would be doing it, right. um,
Yeah.
just being out of work for the longest time during the rehab. um, there was a lot of slack to pick up
Mm.
after I started
Mm.
working again. So getting into the gym uh, is a goal. It's gonna help me. I think I want to be positive and say if I spend 6 solid months really focusing on what I need to at the moment, I can be back to normal, like 100% normal.
Okay. So it's not about if, it's about when.
It's a win. It's a win. I'm gonna keep it positive and say it's a win, right?
There we go. That's what
Because
we like
look,
to hear.
I from that March 2020, with the whole COVID thing, I was still allowed to go out in public, even with all the restrictions, because it was a health reason that I was out. Um, I still got the best. I want to say the people that I worked with were the best physiotherapists out there. They got me going. Um, I know you asked at the start, before we started all of this, whether there were some things that were off limits that I didn't want to talk about. Uh, and I said no. But um, you know, I'm back to living in our own space now, right? Um, when we left, we didn't leave on the best terms. When we left to my wife and my girls, because we're back in Johannesburg now. We've been here for about 2 years. um, we didn't leave on the best of terms from from where we were with my folks and my sister, but I don't want to go into that. It's that's a story for another day, not for
Hmm.
this,
Hmm.
not for this
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
this podcast. Yeah, but yeah, after I left there and we moved back here, I obviously couldn't commute with the physiotherapists there in Pretoria. I had to find new ones here, and I want to say the ones that I found here were amazing, amazing. The most amazing people that I've dealt with. Like, the amount of patience they had to put up with my bullshit. Because let me tell you, I was on some bullshit. I was on Keegan knows I was on some bullshit.
Hmm.
Uh, mentally, I was on some bullshit where I was like, my body was like, bro, we're ready to go. We're ready to do this. And my brain was like, nah, you're not doing this. You are gonna hurt yourself again. And,
Just take it
we're
easy.
gonna be
Yeah.
back.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna be back to square one. I'm sorry. Sit your ass down for a little while. And I'm like, and I remember, again, if you, I know I said this before, but I bitched and moaned to Keegan, like, you know, my brain is just not letting me do this shit. And I think he was just, I know in the back of his mind, he was probably thinking to himself, can this guy just, I just want to punch this guy in his face.
Yeah.
Uh,
Multiple times.
I just want to
Multiple
punch
times.
this guy in his face, but he was being nice. He was just being, motivational. No, you can do it. You're gonna do it. But I know in the back of his head, he just wanted to slap me and say, you know what, get over this shit. Stop being whiny and just get it done. And I pushed for a while and I pushed, and there were days when, I was supposed to have rehab, and and I just woke up and pretended like I wasn't feeling well just because I didn't, you know, it was a bit too much. And when you're rehabbing something, it's all about being repetitive in a short space of time so that, your body doesn't forget.
Consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. It needs that repetitive. And I was like, I realized when I was trying to rehab that I was so out of shape that, because it happened in 2019 and the rehab was in 2020, 2021. So that's like almost 2 years of not doing anything.
Hmm.
Because from the time the first injury happened to heading into rehab, I had not done anything physically. I was just lying in bed all the time, and
And that sort of makes me think about the, when for our listeners and those who are watching, when we first spoke about this topic, knowing that we were going to speak about this today, um, you mentioned to us the fact that you had always told your girls, if you're not first, you're lost. And so when you're laying down and you're sitting on that couch and you're not first, but you're lost, and you're trying to muster up the courage to keep going. And so when you couldn't get to first, you lied in order to make yourself seem that you're on your way to getting first. And you told them what they needed to do so that could get there. And you spoke to your wife and you lied to her maybe a little bit. And then, maybe we call it a lie now, but if we look back and we see how far you've come, did you lie? I don't think you did. You used the only option that you had available to make sure no one lost that flame. And now I look, and for our listeners who aren't watching at the moment, right behind where Justin is sitting is a picture, two pictures of his family, his beautiful girls and his beautiful wife. And I think it's so fitting that, you know, they are behind you, not just in this picture, but in the support of everything that you do. They've always had your back. And I think now you speak about all those times when things unfolded and you didn't know, but you had that hope. because before it had just materialized out of, let's say, lack of a better term, thin air. Now we sit and reflect on all of these things, and you see how everything just fell back into place again all the time, and they were behind you no matter what it was. And so now you say, okay, well, how do you take what you've been through when they were helping you to add on to that point of, if you're not first, you're lost? How does that, you and your wife together going through this thing, take the next step for your girls? This is what you do. This is how you grow up. This is maybe life teaching you sooner than we'd hoped that it should. But this is the lessons that we can take from this together as a family. What do you say to them?
Look, I still right now all of them are currently in school, and they're getting into like sports and stuff, and I can still see the little ones are a bit apprehensive, you know,
Mm.
because like they're worried about what if this happens to us, they've seen dad go through the worst, right? And they worried about what if this happens. So, and I see it in their faces, and I see it in the way that they conduct themselves when they're on the sports field. And, I've told them that um, in order to be good at this, you there's always going to be some fear in you. I know you're scared. I know you're scared to get hurt, but getting hurt is part of the learning process. You're not going to stay hurt forever. It's going to come, it's going to go, and it's going to make you better. I tell them it sounds like the stupidest thing you're going to hear, but getting hurt is actually one of the best lessons that you can learn,
Oh,
because
yes, it is.
it's going to teach you how to not let it happen to you again. But the funny part about that is that's not even in your control whether you get hurt again.
Mm.
It may seem like it, uh, in in a literal sense. It may seem like you can stop yourself from getting hurt, but we're not talking about just um, physically in that moment when I'm talking to them about the sport. I know it seems like they're young and they wouldn't understand, um, what it means to get hurt emotionally, but they have been hurt emotionally. Um, and the funniest thing is that they learned very quickly how to deal with it.
Mm. Mm.
Like I said, it's not a topic that I want to delve into too much, but
Yeah.
they've they felt it at their young age what it is to um, not just, I don't know, to lose trust in something,
Mm.
and they've picked up the pieces and they've moved, obviously with help from my wife and um, I want to say that they learned a major life lesson a lot quicker, a lot earlier than they should have. As kids, can you guys remember having to learn tough life lessons?
Yeah.
I always felt like, no, I'm talking about tough gigs. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about, I don't know, being let go from a sports team, or,
No. No.
not being able to see your friends. I'm talking about deep life lessons. It was never like that. I
Mm.
don't know, I feel like us 80s and 90s kids, we had it easy. Look,
We did. We
I don't
did.
want to
But
take away from anybody else, but I'm just saying I
Yeah,
remember, being a kid, being
not
fun.
that easy.
mm.
It was easy. It was never, you didn't have to think further than I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna have a bath, I'm gonna watch cartoons, or the food is on the table. Everything is just there.
mm,
You just lived your life.
mm,
And I just felt that my kids personally had to learn and grow up a lot quicker than they should have.
mm,
And maybe it's a positive thing in the long run. I don't know how it may affect them further down the line, but we just try and give them as much love and support as they need,
mm.
um, in everything that they do.
Yeah.
You know, I told it's quite an awful thing to tell them if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just us new age parents. We took that from what was it? Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby. If you know, I always no, I was gonna say, I mean, it started off as a joke, but I mean, I always
Mm,
want the kids. I don't know. You didn't want to talk. You said you don't want to delve into this whole wokeness thing. I never want my kids to think that anything in life is just about participation.
mm,
I want them to have the drive to want to be, you know,
Good at
as
something.
good
Yeah,
as
I get it.
yeah, as good as possible. I don't want them to ever, feel like life owes them something.
mm, mm.
Just because you
And
dare, just
that's
because
the
you
truth,
dare,
man.
you deserve something. That's not how it should
Mm,
be.
yeah. Uh, and I totally agree with that. And it's about, you say, like, they've learned so much during this time, and I take it as a fact that it is positive, because they get to hear, they get to see what life is really like sooner. And when adversity comes their way sometime in their lives, they can look back at the point that, hey, I dealt with adversity from a young age, and I know how I can get through this. I saw my mom and dad band together to take us through this. I saw my father sitting on the couch not being able to do what he wanted to do. I can get through this because they've got someone to draw onto, as long as they keep that mindset on the positive side of things. Is that sometimes, I like to believe that life doesn't happen to us, but it happens for us. And if you keep that mentality going forward, it can only be good. So yeah, man, I'm not saying it was a good thing though what happened to you, and I think it's courageous that you came out here to speak to us about it, to open those old wounds. Sorry for the pun that we've been talking about all the time,
Yeah.
but you can see that, as you're saying, the power of the positivity, clinging to your faith, having those people on your side, like your kids, and those photos are behind you, but literally they are behind you too in everything that you do. Just never to give up and to always look for that sign, that hope, that even if you have to lie to yourself or to other people, but if you just believe you can do it, it'll come. And that's how I have many conversations, even with Patrick. Even we've shared our moments too, where we thought about, shit, man, this is going down not the way we wanted to. We knew this was going to be hard, but we never thought it would be this hard. But we always came out, and Patrick and I've shared lots of moments where even he can share with you too, and he will tell you there were some things that, man, is it really worth it? But if you keep that open life, keep that vision alive, and it keeps going, you look back now and these moments where the three of us can sit together and we can laugh at the tough times because we've made it through. And you realize how what it takes and how we build ourselves, our characters up. As Liz Brown says, and I referred to it before, it's not tough times, they're character building times. And that's just how it is. Yeah, man. And yeah, I don't know, Patrick, if there's still something you wanted to say on that topic, or, you
No,
know,
you're right on that topic. I mean that point, and also because yeah, Justin and his family went through that tough moment, tough time together as a family. The kids now have also now like how do we say this now? A reference point in terms of if they're going through tough times, they can also my family went through tough times. This is also just part of life. This is also just another stepping stone of um, yeah, when I'm going through bad things also that there is also end to this. It's not just this forever. Yeah, and it's also like as parents, you want to prepare your kids for life, but you also there's never a good moment for when this happens.
Yeah,
There's never the right moment to always
it's never
tell
the
the
night
kids
moment.
about
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Exactly.
sometimes these moments happen, and you just have to adapt to it as it comes. But yeah, last question, Justin. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is probably a cliche question, but I mean, obviously, going through what you went through now, if you could talk to your younger self, 16-year-old self, Justin, what would you say to Justin, knowing what you went through now?
Uh, I would. Yes, damn. That's a deep question there, Patrick. I
That's how we end the conversation, kids. No.
Yeah.
I would never. I would, I would say to never let doubt creep in so much um, that you can't see a way out. Because throughout all of this, that's I think my mental fortitude in all of this growing up, I I was I want to say I was always arrogant. I mean, I still am. My wife still tells me I am. I would say I always thought that I could do everything by myself, that I never needed anybody else's help. And as I grew older, and it took a very long time um, to realize this, is that as much as you think that you can do it by yourself, it doesn't hurt yourself or anybody else to just ask for help. If you were at that point where you thought you could do it yourself, if somebody says no to you, I want to say you can still fall back on thinking that you could do it yourself. But if you ask for help and somebody does help you, it just makes everything, it alleviates. You may not see it, but it alleviates so much from yourself. It, Pat, you stumped me with this one. I don't even know how to explain it because I've I've been that guy forever. You say 16-year-old self. I've been this way since I was maybe even 7, 8, where I was that egotistical um, guy who was, I'm the man. I can do it all. It's me, 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 me. I don't need anybody. I I'm not a man. I'm the man. And at the end of the day, it was this whole situation was so humbling. You know, back to the point where I told you I literally couldn't do anything for myself. I literally couldn't take a step without somebody helping me. And that was the most humbling thing. So, apart from telling myself not to be, to ask for help, it would also to be humble. Because everyone would like to think that they are humble, but not everybody is. Not everybody can 100% truly say, I'm a humble person. I've heard it and seen it before. Someone say, you know, I'm I'm a humble person. But if you are, you wouldn't need to say it out loud.
You wouldn't have to say it. Yeah.
If you were a humble person, you
I'm
don't
the
have to
I'm the
say.
most humblest person I know, Patrick
Yeah.
Fortune. Yeah.
Yeah.
You, you, if you were that guy, you wouldn't have to say it. I'm trying to think of the proverb or the meme or the way it was phrased, but something along the lines of if you were humble, you won't have to say it. The people around you would
Mm,
say it.
mm, mm, mm.
You never those words never have to leave your mouth. So I would, Pat, I think the most important thing I would have to tell myself is to be humble, honestly,
Nice.
No.
and to be grateful. Sorry, and to be grateful. I'm gonna keep instilling that into my kids now, because, like you said, what I could have told myself. So I'd rather tell it to them. It's too late. I know it's a rhetorical question, or it's a what would you say, a fantasy question, but it's not too late for me to tell them that, but
Yeah.
to teach that now. Maybe too late for me. I've learned these lessons later on in life. But if I can instill it in them, you know, then I'm the humblest guy around.
Yeah, awesome. Justin Pakkiri, you are a strong man, whether you believe it or
No,
not. And you have a
no,
beautiful, strong family who have been there through. So it hasn't just happened to you, it has happened to all of you guys. I admire you and thank you for your time to have come and share your story with us.
and
And I
you
hope that
my and
also,
you my adopted brother. Don't forget that as well.
yeah, and I hope then too for our listeners and our viewers that they could take something from this. Is that even in those darkest moments when they think it's going to, fine, I can just give up now. I had hope, got stuck. I had hope again, it got stuck a second time. I had hope for the third time, it got stuck in a way, but I now can see that even when I was down, I was making steps forward because I simply didn't give up. Thank you. I've
No,
enjoyed this conversation, and I hope
indeed.
everyone's enjoyed this conversation.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening to the Patrick and Keegan show. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Keegan.
And yeah,
And I'm that guy that they couldn't find anyone else to someone more exciting. But I'm here.
Like,
Guys,
comment, share, follow,
before, yeah,
subscribe, everything.
yes,
Thank you guys
all of
for
those
listening.
things.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, these guys deserve everything of the best heading forward. Um, Let me get sloppy, not sloppy, soppy for a little bit. These two guys are amazing, and I know they got a whole lot more in store for you guys. And uh, Logan and his whole podcast crew, just watch out. These guys are the next big thing. Joe Rogan, you
Thanks.
too.
I appreciate it. Cheers, everybody.
cheers, guys.